Do you remember a time when the sky was filled with birds and bees, and colourful fruit grew from the trees? I sure do. Ever since I was a child, I felt deeply connected to nature and very much aware of our dependence on it. That's why my whole life I did everything I could to protect some of nature's greatest treasures, for you to see, and hopefully do the same. My name is Beatrice Kukatz, scientist and nature lover at heart. Welcome to my beloved paradise. Welcome to Polinator Park.
Welcome. I'll be your guide today. Take your time. Have a look around. I'll follow your lead when you choose to proceed. So this is it, Polinator Park in all of its greatness. It started modestly, believe it or not, with just one dome back in 2020. At the time, such biodomes were still a rare sight. Over the years, unfortunately, they grew increasingly necessary. And so our park grew as well. Let's explore, shall we?
You see, this is not just a meadow. This was my meadow, my happy place. This is where I learned how to walk, where I picked flowers and climbed trees, where my father Miro painted the beauty surrounding us and taught me all about it, while he eternalized plants and insects on canvas. I collected and studied them.
Pollinators come in all shapes and sizes. Pick up a flower and wait for the matching pollinator to land on it. Bumblebees have a superpower. They extract pollen from flowers by vibrating their entire bodies. This so-called buzz pollination allows them to reach pollen that no other insect can. Inside the snapdragon's bell-shaped petals, for example. Rosemary flowers are shaped like a hood, hiding the nectar at the bottom of the corolla. The bees that manage to access it leave with their entire bodies covered in pollen. Perfect for pollination. After sunset, moths join the pollination night shift. They prefer their flowers heavily scented and white or pale in color. Light flowers reflect the moonlight, which makes them easy to spot in the dark. Butterflies are perching feeders who favor flowers with a solid landing platform. As the butterfly moves from one flower cluster to another in search of nectar, its long legs get covered in pollen. Hello, hoverfly. Unlike honeybees and bumblebees, most hoverflies don't have a long tongue. Therefore, they prefer easy access flowers when looking for nectar. Their favorites are yellow and white, like this marigold. It may be a myth, but Albert Einstein allegedly said that if bees were to go extinct, we'd only have 4 years to live. And no, that's not because we can't survive without honey. Most bee species don't even produce honey, let alone live in man-made hives. Solitary bee nests are often found inside dead trees or underground. Since they don't have a colony to protect, the males don't have a poisonous sting. As well as being completely harmless, they are also excellent pollinators for fruit trees and berry bushes. When we think of bees, we think of massive colonies, of hives and honeycombs. But these domesticated bees are just one out of almost 2,000 bee species in Europe. Some of these wild pollinators are social, but most live in solitude. Just like this bumblebee, many wild species live underground, in small colonies of a few dozen insects. These pollination champions build their nests, preferably in empty rodent holes. Many plants, like this apple tree, need the pollen of a second tree in order to bear fruit. Each flower of the tree needs to be pollinated for apples to grow. Pick up the pollination wand and give it a try. Exhausting, isn't it? Thumbs up for our bees, who can pollinate around 1,000 flowers in a single day.
Many years ago, we purchased the land next to my father's meadow and dedicated it to future-proof farming experiments. Today, Polinator Park contains over 20 farm labs and 56 researchers working day and night to cater to the needs of pollinators and hungry human beings.
What we human beings forgot in the course of evolution is that we're not the only residents of this planet, and that we need other species for our own survival. Outside this dome-covered sanctuary, pollinators are nearly extinct. Think about it. When was the last time you wiped one from your windshield? Our own growing population, urbanization and industrialization came with major challenges for our flying friends. So did our food production, which struggled to provide for mankind without harming other species. You know, despite our many differences, we all share the very same basic needs. A safe place to live and raise a family, and food to keep ourselves and this family alive. Now look around. This single crop field is the pollinator equivalent of a massive buffet with nothing but cheese sandwiches. Too bad if you dislike cheese, let alone if you can't digest it. You'll have to try and reach the next best food source before you starve to death. And hope that no one sprays this nutritious meal with lethal fluids. Bear in mind, when pollinators feed themselves, they unintentionally contribute to feeding others, including you and me. How about we return the favor and do our part to restore this naturally perfect cycle of food and life?
Back in 2020, our scientific community agreed that the extinction of insects was just 100 years away. And indeed, over the next decade, the effects of pollinator decline started to show. In the outside world, fields lost their flowers and colors, foreshadowing the gradual collapse of our ecosystems. Fewer pollinators meant fewer plants. Fewer plants to feed from meant even fewer pollinators and insects in general. Other animals feeding on those plants or insects were next in line, and so were we. In my younger years, I was like most children, an extremely picky eater, much to father's frustration. I'd stubbornly refuse anything green or healthy. Honestly, if someone had told me back then that many fruits and vegetables would disappear from our menu, I probably would have cheered.
Ready for some time traveling? Pick a year and check the prices and availability of your favorite groceries. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But what would breakfast look like without pollinators? Would you still have a good morning? If we continue this way, very soon only a few of us will be able to afford delicacies like coffee and chocolate. Sure, we could try and turn to alternative nutrients, replace fruits and other foods, buy some time, but there's no doubt about it. Without pollinators, both shopping and eating will become very boring and fail to provide the healthy nutrients our bodies need. With nearly 100,000 kilometers of motorway across the continent, Europe has plenty of room for upgrading its pollinator hospitality. While roadsides may seem like a lot of lost space, the right interventions can turn them into top-notch hotspots for feeding and housing our precious pollinators. We tend to pride ourselves on our perfectly trimmed lawns. Unfortunately, through the eyes of a pollinating visitor, this looks like an apocalyptic landscape. No food, no shelter, no chances of survival. The best thing you can do to protect pollinator habitats? Saving pollinators really is child's play. Just leave those leaves alone. Less work for you, more shelter for them. Even small apartment balconies in a big city have the potential to become a pollinator paradise. Unleash your...
For me, home was never a matter of bricks and...
Even small apartment balconies in a big city have the potential to become a pollinator paradise. Unleash your inner artist on this blank canvas. Even small apartment balconies in a big city have the potential to become a pollinator paradise. Unleash your inner artist on this blank canvas.
Let me ask you again, do you remember that time when the sky was filled with birds and bees and colourful fruit grew from the trees? Did that world cease to exist? Or did you simply cease to notice? Here's a simple request on behalf of pollinators, of Mother Nature, of our planet, and all those we share it with, today and tomorrow. Be in awe, be humble, be loud, be gentle, be aware, be part of our world, and be part of the change it needs. No matter how proud we are of this park, protecting pollinators by covering them with domes is just a band-aid, not a cure. We are the cure. You are.
you.